All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning into the first episode of the Fifth Stripe podcast. We're your hosts tonight, Oliver Long. We also have...
Oh, you got me, Alan Villacorta. By the way, what does the Fifth Stripe mean?
The Fifth Stripe was actually brought up at one of our planning meetings. The Fifth Stripe is it's a mystery stripe that has never ever been introduced to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt before. So we're bringing something new to the game. I mean, it's not quite black belt level, but just above a brown belt 4-stripe level. So it's the Fifth Stripe.
Yeah, Coach Ricky. So we're talking about Instagram at Coach Ricky. What is it? Coach. It doesn't matter. It's at Coach Ricky _TX. All right, Oliver, you can, start the celery.
It's not that.
I don't have Instagram. No, so like I said, we have Professor Alan Villacorta here, and we also have Ricky Rivas. We have a good team behind us. Fortunately, we don't have everybody here tonight, but don't worry, we will have everybody on rotation. Professor Brandon Mullins is one of our key speakers, and he will be bringing a lot of fun when he's here. We also have Austin Weber. And we've got a good crew behind us. Mr. Zach Marshall producing like a producing boss over here. He's basically our Dr. Dre, and we are his pets. It's really good. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors as well. Saloon Door, providing fine quality hoppy goodness to everybody around.
I'm tasting that tasty AF.
Yeah, so what are you drinking tonight, Professor Allen?
Tasty as fuck.
Tasty as fuck. No. We can say tasty on this mic. It's no big deal.
All right.
So what is tasty? So what is that? The chocolate peanut butter stout that got going there?
Really delicious.
Beautiful. What about you, Ricky? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the New England IPA called So 5 Months Ago.
So 5 months ago. You know what? I'm also having that, and it is mighty tasty. Thank you, Saloon Door, for helping us out with that. I'd also like to give a shout out to JustGiPants.com, providing quality, top-notch replacement gi pants.
Always free shipping.
Always free shipping and 6-month warranty. If something goes wrong in 6 months, as long as it's with your gi pants, let them know. They'll get you covered. And if your girl leaves you in 6 months, deal with that on your own. So
you could probably let them know about that. You won't get pants.
Right. They might give you a free gi pant string to reel her back in. You can use it as a lasso. Get that back. Also want to give a shout out to Third Coast Grappling. They've been doing a lot to support us on the background. They've got some good events coming up, and that's something we're actually going to bring up because I think we're going to have some representatives from them come in at our next show to talk about the qualifying match that we're having at Scout Bar. This is for Blues and Purples, correct, Zach?
Yeah.
Excellent. Blue and Purple belts. The inaugural Third Coast Grappling Championship kickoff that we had at the beginning of this year was an enormous success. The highest streamed upload on Flow Grappling, right? Like ever.
I don't know about ever, but
no, we'll say ever. It's not us.
Well,
it's not up to us to prove it's right. Oh, absolutely.
The next big one will be the most streamed ever.
I mean, look, we set the bar high, but you can't put it too high because we got to exceed ourselves, right? That's how it is.
So we got 180 pounds, Blues and Purple, right? That's March 29th. It's a Saturday. I'm excited about that. We have people who qualify on this event. Will go to our June 29th show, which is a stacked card, right? I mean, we have big names.
Craig Jones.
Who do we got on?
Craig Jones.
Oh, yeah. Craig Jones. JT Torres. I actually met JT Torres. Man, I was a white belt back in 2008. He had just gotten his black belt, and so I met him. So I'm kind of excited to see
it's gonna be a good card. I mean, if you guys haven't had a chance to watch the first event, it was amazing. Great fights. It was a very unique point system setup, very submission heavy, but there was a point system there that prevented stalling, and it worked out really well. It kept made for some dynamic fights, some very exciting fights. But yeah, like Professor Allen was saying, the good lineups coming in. If you guys are on Facebook, be sure to check them out. Third Coast Grappling, always posting up updates to keep everybody informed.
And one thing to point out, how many finishes did we have in the first third Coast Grappling? They were all almost all of them except two, right?
Yeah, over 50%. We had a couple of points wins on there, but man, the finishes, the technicality, like the technical aspect of the grapplers there, and the quality of it was amazing. I mean, even for people who are into the grappling scene and know what's going on, they were exciting matches. But for people who aren't a part of it, who are just there to experience something new, it was exciting. It brought a whole new dynamic to it, and it brought a whole new audience to it, and I thought it was really good.
Hey guys, correct correct me if I'm wrong, but this event on June 29th, there's a possibility that it might be on the beach.
No.
What?
Wait,
Beach, shut up.
not yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse Coach Riggy. You know, I don't know where he gets his information.
Look, we're gonna be honest with you guys.
Jesus.
That's in the future.
Ricky, we will correct you when you're wrong. So
Okay, cool.
please keep speaking up.
But there is a beach event in the future.
In the future, yeah.
That seems so
Man.
hard to plan for because it has to be like correct weather. It has to be correct weather and like.
But you know what? Hey, when you got a
God's
when you got when you got a marketing team like them and a planning coordination like they have, anything's possible, man.
You
I
know,
think it's gonna be good.
Hey, Oliver. So a lot of people, you know, I listen to podcasts out there. You know, I know there was other podcasts here out of Houston. You know, I listen to a few other podcasts, and a lot of them are jiu-jitsu based, right? So, you know, we're a jiu-jitsu based podcast. We're going to talk about other people, missing people, suicides, fucking everything, right?
Getting dark already.
So, you know, people don't know who we are. So, I mean, you go ahead, take it off, you know, give a little introduction, what you do, how you train, you know, how long you've been training, and then, you know, we'll go from there.
Well, all right. Well, that's I am currently a brown belt 4th stripe. Hopefully on deck for my 5th stripe. We'll see how that goes. I would love to be the first Professor Brandon Wolverine Mullins brown belt 5th stripe.
Brown belt fifth stripe.
Brown belt 5th stripe. That's amazing. I've been training. I guess we're coming up on 10 years now. I started at Gracie Barra, Texas, with Professor Dracolino, and still there. I'm a lifer, man. That's
Okay, so you originally started there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, my jiu-jitsu career started at Gracie Barra. They were actually a couple blocks up the road from my first house over here in Clear Lake, and I was going out for a jog one day, saw the Gracie Barra sign. I was like, all right, jiu-jitsu. Saw Dracolino's name on there. Wasn't too familiar with him. Like, I've heard the name before, but I didn't know kind of the caliber of what we were dealing with. Looked him up, and after about 3 seconds of being overwhelmed with all that information of goodness, I was like, yep, nah, screw it, we're doing it. And this is what we do. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I started, and that's where I'm at now.
Cool. How about you, Ricky?
Man,
Coach Ricky.
Mine's a little bit of a story. Do you have time for it?
Maybe next time, Ricky. All right.
There is a time limit, Coach Ricky.
Cliff notes, bro. Cliff notes.
Well, so the first time I ever experienced jiu-jitsu was at a high school party, and it was this guy who
Some chick choke you out.
No,
I think I'm going to start with mine, okay? No, here you go, Coach Ricky.
this guy did an armbar on me. It was a very sloppy armbar. I didn't realize it at the time, but it popped my elbow, and I was just more like in awe of how that felt. I didn't think that it would work that way.
It wasn't your brother, was it?
No, it wasn't my brother. It was one of my buddies at the time, but I showed my brother at home. And then my brother and I kind of started rolling around at the house, right? But all we knew was a sloppy armbar. So we would just try to force ourselves into position. Then my brother, he got a little chunky.
Oh, you mean Big Bert?
Big Bert.
Big Bert.
Big Bert weighed probably around 230 pounds. And then,
No, I remember that, yeah.
and
I mean, you're thick right now.
I'm like 170 right now. So
On the nice side.
he went up to 230, and then he was doing classes for a college to lose weight,
Okay.
like a kickboxing for fitness.
Was this over at San Jack?
This was over at St. Jack.
They had a capoeira class there for a while, too, or a little group.
They had an extra credit assignment to go to this MMA club, but it wasn't an MMA club. It was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club who was taught by this guy named Omar Sanchez, and he had been doing no-gi for over 10 years, and he was just never belted. Funny thing, he eventually went to Gracie Barra, got his purple belt like the first week, and he's a black belt professor now.
Little caveat: Omar Sanchez is Roberto's brother, right? Roberto Sanchez, who you might know from the UFC.
Yeah, so he was teaching my brother and I some stuff, which was
Non-sloppy
pretty cool.
arm bars.
What was that?
Non-sloppy arm bars, hopefully.
Non-sloppy
Yeah.
arm bars, correct. So whenever we started being consistent, he told us to sign up at Gracie Barra, and I was like 17. I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, my brother, he was a little older. He had the money. He signed up. And when we would wrestle around the house, he started beating me. Like, beating me bad and kind of, I didn't like that. So over time, I gave in. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna sign up.
You got to, right?
Yeah, and luckily, because my brother was there, I got to jump in to the advanced classes. I actually did a tournament before I signed up, and I won that tournament.
Was it Naga?
No, it wasn't Naga.
Good
it wasn't
for
Naga.
you.
It was I think it was a Grappler's Quest tournament.
That's good.
And I did the Nogi division.
Early Grapplers Quest were tough fucking fights, man.
Yeah,
Like, they were real tough.
I mean, it was the novice division or beginner, whatever.
Either or, Grappling Quest was legit back then. I mean, it's still legit, but back in the day it was.
They still have all those videos. You know, you have BJ Penn, you had all these guys.
Yeah.
Mike Fowler.
Whenever I won, the next week I signed up at Gracie Baja, and because I had won, Professor Drac let me do the advanced classes, and at that time the advanced classes also counted for the MMA classes.
Yep.
And so
Got that college credit, huh?
that's it. I was able to just do all of those classes, and I didn't stop training ever since. I think the longest break I've taken since I signed up, which was 2011, is maybe a week.
Was that for Taco Tuesday so you could become Thick Rick?
And what year was this that you started? 2011?
Oh, 2010 is
2010?
when I started,
Okay.
but 2011 is when I signed up at Gracie Baja.
Nice.
Man, I wish I started that young, you know?
Yeah, that's
I was 16 going on 17
Look at that.
when I started.
I guess this is Alan. You know, my story is a little difficult. I mean, a little different, right? And difficult as well. I went to college in Puerto Rico, and
Were you born there?
No, I'm from Peru.
Okay.
So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
Dare you? Mic drop.
So, Japanese jiu-jitsu, believe it or not, and you know, it was a lot of like Aikido, a lot of this extra stuff, right?
Aiki-jitsu derivative,
And I was
yeah.
a big Tito Ortiz fan back then, right?
It was the shorts, right?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the whole flame and
Oh,
the blonde
absolutely.
hair and all this and that. And so I started calling, all these the yellow pages, right? Because I mean, the internet was out, but if you want to look for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Puerto Rico, you're not going to find it on the internet, right?
You don't have to hide it. You're showing your age right
You
now.
know, well,
We're in
I'll
the
tell you
same
right
boat.
now, I'm 38, right? So it is what it is, right? So back then I was 25, it's 2005. I'm looking, I find this school, start doing Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. Eventually I find one guy, shout out to Manuel Rey out of Flavio Bering Jiu-Jitsu out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. I started there, you know, on and off. I've been training from 2006. Of course, you know, it wasn't smart training, right? And now being the age that I am, I have the neck problems, the back problems, and it's not the training that we have now, right? But anyways, I started in Puerto Rico. Eventually I moved to Chicago, started training at Rio Jiu-Jitsu. Shout out to Pete the Greek. You know, the whole wrist lock, the world thing, you know, that's where I learned my wrist locks. And
Good
you
names
know,
thrown out there, man.
yeah. You know, so I trained in Chicago, and you know what's funny? So with Pete the Greek, we did a spread on Gracie Mag, right? I was his uki for over underpass, and you know what's funny? On the Gracie Mag, on the actual, it was like a photo shoot of him passing the guard, and on the next page over, it was on the same page, it's Drac's face. Professor Draculino's face for Draculino BJJ, but it says it's just the face.
It's the
but I'm on the other
Black
side.
Adam was black and white.
So
one,
it's
yeah.
the weirdest thing. So this came out in 2012.
Bro,
I visited.
you were destined.
Well, I don't know, but yeah. So in 2012,
We've got you
I
now.
visited. When was it? I visited Houston 2012. Later on that year, and I was like, I'm moving here.
Yeah.
And you know, and next you know, I started training at Gracie Baja, Texas
Here
ever
you
since
are.
2014. So, you know, it's been the best move, you know, as far as jiu-jitsu, life-wise, friendship-wise, you know. I've
What-
met, you know,
What year did you end up getting your black belt? Was it?
about a year ago.
So it was
It was
December.
the end
December
of 2017.
December of
Yeah.
17, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember. Professor Jacqueline always likes to give a little brief speech about the black belts, or people getting the black belts for each graduation, and I remember one of the things he said about you is like, you know, this guy had the opportunity to train with a lot of guys, you know, moved around a lot, and he is a prime example of the best way to transition from one school to a next, and just just get back into it, man. I mean,
You know what I mean? Like I've made the best training partners that I have here in my jiu-jitsu career have been here. You know, you have Coach Riggy. Man, I love this guy. This guy is really nice. He knows, yeah, I'm a little older and this and that, but he knows when to push, when not to push. You got
he's super technical. Man. Well, he's a high-level grappler.
I mean, of course, he trains with me. He trains with Professor Brandon. I know he trains with Professor Brandon a lot. Professor Brandon's a great friend of mine. He knows when to push, when not to push, right? So, we have a great team, and I think we all work together. So, this is where I ended up, and I want to pick another school.
Well,
yeah.
I think one thing to say on that is that a lot of people, when they come in, they want to win. Like they need to learn how to lose. That's kind of like a process in itself, and also learn how to learn. But on top of that, learn how to train safely, because you can't improve if you're injured.
Well, you learn a lot about yourself when you're training jiu-jitsu, man. You it's the funny thing is, you hear all these cliches, check your ego at the door. There's no winning and losing. There's winning and learning. But it really is freaking true, man. It is true.
Yeah, but also being good at training safely is a skill in itself. Because if you're so safe, if you are the safest training partner, then it doesn't matter how crazy your training partner is, you will be able to keep both of y'all safe.
Yeah, you maintain the situation, which is
a skill.
Which is the kind of the concept we do with jiu-jitsu. Ricky does a lot of the intro classes at our jiu-jitsu school. I help him out a lot with those, and a lot of the things we tell people is you have this option to where you control the situation. It's very humane. You have the option to maintain your safety. If you need to crack somebody in the face, you need to crack somebody's shoulder open, you have that option. But if you have that option to be like, look, man, chill out.
Look, I'll tell you this. If I have to go, sorry, I just jump in. I just gotta jump in. If I have to go. If I have to go hard with Coach Riggy, I can go 100%. And the other day we were sparring, and I really try to put the pressure on him. 100%. I'm not going to hurt him. Now, if I do, it's really an accident.
It's fucking his fault. You should defend yourself, son.
It's an accident, right? But what he means by that is you gravitate to a sensitivity. For example, I like wrist locks. With certain parts of my body, I have the sensitivity to see where your body is to get you on the wrist lock. Same thing with the whole body. I know where to move my body that I'm not going to hurt you. I mean, am I right?
Yes, 100%.
You know why I signed up for jiu-jitsu? Just so people would pay attention to my body.
Well,
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
I get okay.
I think whenever you recognize, if I am training with somebody and they are going crazy, then my first thought is, okay, how can I train with this person to where I won't get hurt? And then my secondary thought is, how can I beat this person? Now, whenever you train with someone who is also safe, you have that same sort of sensibility. You're able to tell, oh, this person is training safely and I'm training safely, so y'all are both able to amp up the training a little bit and kind of get, I don't want to say reckless, but go closer to 100%.
It takes away that worry, and it gives you that sense of freedom to be able to develop your game and do what you want to do.
If there's a one-off hit, it's a one-off hit, and you understand that, and I don't even have to say sorry to him because he knows I'm not really hurting him, right? I mean,
it's intent. It's intent.
Now, there is people in the gym, and I had that conversation with Oliver.
We'll call him Voldemort.
There's people that have hurt me in training. I had that conversation with you too, Coach Riggy. Those people will eventually become black belts if they continue, and they would still be that way. There's people who get to these higher levels and they're still rough and they're still this and they will always be like that. I mean, however you are till purple or brown, that's the way you are. I would even say blue, man. I mean, because you can tell a lot by the way people people spar, people roll. Like, when you roll with me, I'm going to let you pass. I'm going to let you do your thing, and I'll attack, right? Because I don't have that cardio or all that. But you know I'm also not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
But whenever you get that jittery guy...
And those wrist locks, they hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, if you're all jittery, I'm going to get you. But what I mean is, like, if you get someone who's jittery, white, blue, purple, they're going to be jittery at brown and purple. And sometimes you hope that would go away, but a lot of times it won't.
You know, one thing that I think really helps make that go away is if people train consistently. Because,
absolutely.
Because
it's familiarity.
Well, also, it's being tired, right? Because if people only come in to train, if I trained only whenever I had energy, then I would exert all my energy on my training partners. But if I come in and I have my tired days and I have my bad days,
I don't believe that.
there are days where I'm not going to be able to exert a lot of energy on my training partner. So that'll force me, 1, to slow down, 2, to be more technical, and 3, to be more safe. Especially if then my training partner is someone who is also going crazy.
How old are you, Ricky?
25.
Don't talk to me about fucking energy.
Well, look, you know, I'm 38, right? And he's 25. I can go against a 24-year-old. If I can smash him, I'll smash him, right? But if he can smash me, I'll get smashed for a little bit and I'll recover. But does that mean if I know I can smash him from the beginning, am I going to smash him all the time and make him suffer? No.
Absolutely. Well,
right? And that's the difference
for you or him, because that's like, again, without naming any names, you see sometimes, you know, because when it comes to live training, we roll with people of all, you know, white belts, blue, purple, brown, everybody, you know, and then you'll see some higher level belts come in and, you know, slap hands with the white belt, one stripe, catch him in a berimbolo, go for a crazy back take and do something silly, which is cool, you know, it makes you feel cool at the end, but the same thing is like, you're not giving your opponent that time to also develop their skills, and also there's a time and place to try your fancy stuff, you know, and I'm not knocking it, but there's also times to where you need to develop a very technical, fundamental game that's going to help you develop your skills along with your training partner as well, because like we said last time, you know, the better we all get, the better we all get.
In other words, don't be a fucking prick. I mean, that's it, right?
Don't go around
realize when you're not being cool.
Well, yeah, but also I think Oliver touched on a good point, is that whenever you're training with someone new, like especially for us, I'm a brown belt with 4 stripes, Oliver's a brown belt with 4 stripes, Professor Allen's a black belt, Zach over here is a blue belt. You got to train with new people in a very introductory way, right? Like, I'm not going to slap hands with someone on their second day.
Flying armbar,
right? Exactly.
Helicopter armbar, that motherfucker.
Exactly, right? Like, I'm going to let them initiate the action, and then I'm going to react.
Remember, a lot of times, more experienced people, we're thinking, if I get him or I get somebody in an armbar, he's going to react a certain way. Well, the new guy is not going to react that way. So, you know, a long time ago, I hurt someone, right? Because, hey, I went for something. I thought he was going to bend his arm one way, and it bent the other way, right?
You didn't hurt him. You put him in a position for himself.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Right? So, and that was a foolish part of my end, right? But at the same time, we need to recognize that. So that's a learning, and from that day, that hasn't happened. That part, right, of me expecting them to move a certain way, right? So it's all about learning from mistakes and use your experience for other people, right?
But I think that's something we also need to touch on for any listeners out there who, I mean, obviously between all of us here, we have, you know, quite a few decades in jiu-jitsu. But for people who are tuning in who don't necessarily train jiu-jitsu, I know there's a lot of people out there who are interested in it, you know, with jiu-jitsu being as I guess, popular as it is now, UFC. I mean, we've all seen the dynamics of it and how effective it can be. I think it's good to hear that, look, you're going to come in there, and the hardest part is always showing up somewhere new to a place that's super organized that you know is going to be a tough time. Like, you're never going to be like, I'm going to show up to jiu-jitsu and we're going to color. No, you're going to show up to jiu-jitsu, you're going to have some 200-pound dude lay on top of you who wants to be there. That's not something people experience in their daily lives. But, like, if you come in there saying, like, look, we've all been here, we've all been in this situation, and we're going to help you develop. It does us no good to beat up new students and get them out the door. And it does us no good to beat up students who, I love omoplatas. If I do an omoplata every time, I'm good. Then you go against someone who's like, I love defending against omoplatas, you're screwed, So it's developmental for everybody. And I think, people need to realize that coming in.
Jiu-jitsu is not easy, right? It's
Absolutely
not easy.
not.
You're going to get hurt and all this, but it is fun. It's the best thing you can do in the world. And it teaches you how to be a better person, right?
And honestly, I think it's something that is really hard to simulate, because whenever so I wrote an article about this in the Houston Medical Times.
Oh shit!
Whenever you
Fucking celebrity here, Jesus Christ.
whenever you talk about jiu-jitsu and you really break it down to a daily occurrence, it's going through different positions that are sucky and some that are good. So you're going through your little own tragedy and triumph every class, right? Like I could have Professor Allen on my back. I'm ready to tap, but I know it's not entirely on. Maybe I escape. Maybe I end up in a better position, right? And so this happens so many times during an hour session that people learn to overcome. And then that mentality seeps into other areas of your life.
Oh, absolutely. You learn a lot about yourself in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, if you have an office job and your boss just laid down a stack of paper at the end of the day for you to fill out,
choke your boss out. No, don't choke your boss out.
You can overcome. If your girlfriend breaks up with you, you can overcome. If you
Choke her out.
You can joke her out too. Yeah. We don't condone domestic violence, by the way.
I feel like the answer to everything is just choke them.
choke them out.
That's right.
Hey guys, before we continue, you know what happened to me yesterday? I broke my gi pants. Guess what I got to do?
You got to order some top-notch quality replacements. Always free shipping.
Do you know where I got to order this from?
JustGiPants.com.
JustGiPants.com.
Shout out to Professor Brandon Mullins. who's not
Okay,
here with
well,
us
I'll
today,
do that later.
unfortunately.
Okay, so what were we talking about?
No, just the ability to overcome in jiu-jitsu will seep into your everyday life, and also it'll help you improve. Just like, if you have nothing to overcome one day, then you can plan ahead. You
You can find something to get into to overcome.
Yeah,
go start a
exactly.
fight.
No, not necessarily that.
Oh man, I'm totally misreading this.
I'll tell you what, man. This whole and maybe this is not the right place to get to talk about this on the first podcast. But what do you think, Coach Ricky, about the whole? There's a lot of jiu-jitsu schools out there that are like, hey, what if you get into a confrontation? What if a guy has a knife? What if a guy has an AK-47? Look,
There's two guys.
I'm not gonna fight. It's not gonna happen. The only way I will try and kill you is if you mess with my family, which is my son, my immediate family, right? Or you're some sort of terrorist attack, and and there's no way out, right? I'm gonna go guns blazing, right? So
that's really interesting. I feel like people have this idea that a lot of gyms are very non-violent, which that's accurate, right? But there's almost this sense of if you fight outside of the gym, you're banned, right? For whatever reason. But
or the reason why you train jiu-jitsu, right? Or the reason why you train jiu-jitsu, and this just pisses me off with the whole jiu-jitsu thing is, I train jiu-jitsu because it's fun, right? It's fun. It's challenging mentally and physically.
And I hate running.
That too, right? It's good to work out, right? It's good to work out. The older you get, you get great physicals. You maintain. You're in shape, but I'm talking about gyms that are 100% focused on self-defense, or gyms that are 100% focused on sport. The reason I do jiu-jitsu is because I I feel like I can defend myself, right? If the time comes, and B, it's fun, which is the sport aspect, right? So I think there has to be a balance between both, right? What do you guys think about that?
Well, yeah. So when it comes to self-defense, I mean, you will learn that through simulation in jiu-jitsu, right? Through just like going over basic positions. Let's say Zach over here sneaks up and gets on my back, right? Because we have gone over this position several times, maybe I can defend myself from Zach. But that maybe is a for sure positive thing if it's a stranger out on the street.
Yeah.
So that self-defense happens in simulation. There are some gyms that are just purely like self-defense. Like, hey, look, so I actually don't like a lot of these gyms because they're like, oh, look, if this person grabs your wrist, you gotta poke them in the eye or whatever, right?
Well, look, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, you just blow fairy dust in their eyes.
You know what the best defense is when someone grabs your hand with two arms, right? Punch them in the fucking face.
No, that's
I will
not
punch
true.
you in your
That's
throat.
not true.
I mean,
break your nose.
I know. I mean,
With one arm.
I mean, Coach Rick and I think we simulate this every day at the gym, right? We're always messing around. But what I'm saying is this. Where we train, we do self-defense, right? Simulations, the punch, kick, right? Takedown. We do that every class to start the class. And then we also do basic jiu-jitsu passes, whether it's for street or sport, right? But we do both. Now, I don't agree with schools that do all one or all the other.
Yeah, no.
Right? I think it's very important to do everything. That's like saying, hey, you work at a fucking.
Well, it's like Nike only selling $700 pair of shoes. It's like you have people who like Nike that want to spend $70 on shoes. You don't have to only sell your.
All right, look.
Like, you have people who show up. Like, we have people who sign up who are 50, 60 years old. They don't want to be the next world champions.
Look.
They want to learn to get some exercise, defend themselves.
Look, fucking Nike. Look, I'm sorry. Look, at ADHD coming in. Look, fucking Nike. Let's say Nike. What do you think when you think about Nike? What do you think? What sport do you think? Basketball, right? You think about Jordan, right? Is this shit on? Hello?
I usually think about Jordan all the time.
Well, all right, that's a different subject. So look, you think about basketball, but they know if they just attack the basketball market, they're screwed. So they got to go for tennis, cross country, marathon, whatever the fuck, right? So to get the whole market. So same thing with jiu-jitsu. You can't just go and say, hey, I just want to learn how to defend just in case. No, you got to learn that and the fun part too, because there has to be some fun factor.
Well, so we have in the fundamental program, and I think this is a responsibility for every jiu-jitsu gym out there, is that you have to have a program that teaches the beginning of jiu-jitsu, but also teaches self-defense. So we often make this distinction at Gracie Barra between trained and untrained, right? So what do we do if a guy headlocks you? Well, headlock isn't really that common of a position because there are more consequences than rewards in jiu-jitsu. So that is a good example of trained versus untrained, right? But we also talk about spider guard in the fundamental program because that is something that is going to happen
in a sports setting.
In sports setting, and it's going to happen relatively quickly, right? Like you can train for a few years without ever being put in 50-50, depending on what school you're in. However, headlock is a very common thing for someone who does not know jiu-jitsu.
You know,
if children daily.
Well, hey, talking about children, you know, I have a son, he's 5 years old. He got me in a headlock the other day. I told him, headlock me. He was choking me out. Not like I wasn't defending or anything, right? I just put my neck out there. He's like, headlock, right? He trains jiu-jitsu, right? So he headlock. And if I didn't do anything, I'm going out. And now we're talking about a kid he's supposed to be 40, but he's really like 37 pounds. But anyways, you know, imagine you have a 200-pound dude trying to headlock you. You're out. I mean, right? So you need to learn to defend these things instinct-wise, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what we tell people a lot of time, like during these situations. It's like, look, you're going to get in positions where, when is the last time you've had a 200-pound dude on top of you that really, really wants to be there? Now,
I don't know what you're talking about, but that's not me.
I was gonna say, now most people are gonna be like, never. You know, the ones that answer that question differently, we'll address that on a different level. But so you're gonna be in a situation that's probably one of the worst things that you could imagine. Nobody wants to be smothered by some dude sitting on their chest. But the thing is, the more you train, the more you get that opportunity to see what that's like. It becomes less of an ordeal and more of something that you can handle.
Yeah, but also, like, I actually don't think that situation is that bad. Right, like having a 200-pound guy
Rick.
on top of you.
Thick Rick.
Say that a little bit slower and a little bit of.
We got at Thick Rick at Instagram.com.
Because
Coming soon. He has to change his name.
It could get way worse, right? Like there's always room for it to get way
Yeah, he
worse.
could be 270 pounds.
What if? Yeah, exactly. This guy could be 270 pounds. What if this guy's punching you? Right? What if this
course.
guy's a weapon?
No,
Right?
and,
So,
and
like,
what if he's 200 pounds and he knows where to put the weight? Now that just multiplies,
Still-
right?
still-
But that's when we get the differentiation between a trained fighter and an untrained fighter, which is
Exactly.
where the fundamentals and the basis of the fundamentals starts to materialize.
Exactly. Look, if someone is just on top of you and you can't get out, that's more of you freaking out rather than them doing anything to you.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about this in intro lessons whenever someone comes in. Right?
Absolutely.
We can hold people in mount. Right? Let's say I was 250 pounds. If I was holding someone in mount at 250 pounds,
You're almost there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
or at 170 pounds, that same feeling for the person on bottom of being trapped is still there.
Right.
The weight is only relevant if they are trained.
Right. No,
Right.
absolutely.
So like, so
I agree.
That's not that bad of a situation. Right.
Little side piece here.
Man, you-
Had Professor Berto show up. Berto Rivas. We got him mic'd up, but
Can you hear him?
That's working.
we're gonna ask our producer to turn that down just so we don't need that in our life.
We're gonna need to.
We're done with that. We got one. Look. The rule is one Rivas brother. Ricky showed up first.
I don't know if I can handle two. Tell you the
know.
truth, I don't
Well,
know.
you gotta handle it.
I'm not sure. Whatever.
Problem is here now.
Whatever.
It's like jujitsu.
Hey, so-
I'm the 200-pound guy.
Oh
Sorry,
my God.
300.
Actually, we did.
Well, actually,
we did talk about Big Bert earlier. Big Bert pre GBTX coming in strong. So we've already given a brief introduction about you. But hey, while you're here, why don't you just give us a little introduction about yourself? Tell us how long you've been training, what your rank is, and kind of how you got started with GB. Ricky did fill in most of it, but I feel like there's some details he's missing. So
Well, I got started through boxing class actually that I was taking at San Jack.
all right, you know what? Don't tell us that Ricky already told us the story. Keep going.
And then that led me
Cold-blooded.
to the South Campus of San Jack where they did a free, they called it an MMA class. It was pretty much just jiu-jitsu, no-gi jiu-jitsu. And that's where I first met Robert Sanchez and Omar Sanchez, both black belts under Professor Draculino now. They led me to Professor Draculino, and that was great. My first day was actually pretty interesting because I showed up to the 11 o'clock class, and I had been training for about a year at this time.
I guess unofficially, right? You didn't have a
Yeah,
school you were
unofficially, I didn't have a
part of the
a
MMA
school.
club or-
Yeah, I didn't have a rank. I had just been training pretty consistently for about a year, and so I show up and I expect to just do the class, and I'm greeted by Professor Brandon, who was running the class that morning by himself, and he very politely yet firmly told me to come back tonight at 7:30. All right, maybe he just didn't believe that I had some experience.
You know,
or not.
he's not here right now, right?
No, I know. Makes it even better. So I did because I was very excited about doing the class and joining the school. So I came back 7:30, and Professor Draculino let me do the class. I actually paired up with Junichi my very first time.
Oh, Junichi-san.
Yeah, Junichi-san.
Dude, he's super tough, super technical, man.
Super good. Sad that he had to leave the school back then. He was a blue belt back then. I hope he's
Man, he should have stuck with it, man. He was.
I hope he's still training somewhere.
He was the definition of samurai spirit, man. Like,
But
he was good.
yeah, so I trained with him that entire class, and then
quick. Junichi-san, good name drop. But watch the names.
I know.
We got listeners. We don't want to be talking about people like.
I'm just saying I miss him.
Well, you know.
I miss seeing his post on Facebook because he always had like the most samurai photos ever. Because I may be wrong, but he was like descendant from samurai,
I'm
right?
I'm pretty sure if he got like a clan tattoo, he could tell you what clan it was from.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure he has like a full tang, like custom made katana from probably a ninja.
So shout out former student Junichi.
Junichi,
wherever you are. I hope you're still training, man.
Keep it up, buddy. Keep it up.
Killer ankle locks.
Oh man. So here we are. That was good. I thought we had a good like a little jiu-jitsu conversation. Anything funny happened in you guys' week this week? Anything crazy?
No.
You know what my dumbass did? I decided to watch a fucking Flat Earth documentary on Netflix. I watched it, and let me mainly because it was really late, and it was better judgment. There was probably better stuff on, but it was super amusing, and I'm kind of upset we don't have Professor Brandon here because he's very passionate about his Flat Earth theories.
It's amazing how much he learns about things he knows are wrong. Yeah. But he would just dive in.
Man, he's very dedicated about it. But it was funny because it kind of followed these two people that were we'll say leaders of the Flat Earth movement. Very loose right there, but a guy named Mark Sargent from somewhere in Canada. It's all white and snowy. I don't know. They all look the same up there. But and then someone here in Houston, her name was Patricia Steer, I think it was. But it was funny because these documentary guys were following him around and like kind of, hey, how'd you get started? Why are your beliefs in this? And it was funny how they all started off about, I was really big into conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other. I love chasing that. And then I started reading about Flat Earth, and I was like, bro, this is legit. It's like, man, if your main interest is conspiracy theories, don't dive into it. But it was funny because, they followed these people around, but the lady in Houston, they're all driving around here, going to Johnson Space Center, like driving up 518. They passed Gracie Baja on the way and everything. Like, you see it in the documentary. It touched home, but it's kind of amusing because, from the director's standpoint, these guys are filming this documentary, interviewing these people and stuff. But the tone of it, you can tell they're sitting there, they're like, dude, these guys are what the fuck full of shit.
Was it the video of the guy with the level on the plane? Did you see that?
Man, no, I didn't. Man, fuck Flat Earth.
Right? Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
but no, it wasn't even the level on the plane.
But did you see that video, though?
Oh, yeah.
Like, a guy took a level to a plane and was like, it's been leveled the whole time.
Dude, there's one guy, like, one of the parts in there, he's like, I'm over here in Canada. You see those buildings over there? That's Seattle. He's like, if anything, the Earth should curve. I don't see that. Bro, do you know how big the Earth is? You will not see the curve. Like,
man, you can't believe any of this. And look, when you were a kid, I remember I used to be scared of this fucking picture of a fucking clown in my fucking room, and
who the fuck puts pictures of?
I don't know. It was something crazy. So my brother told me oh, it fucking changes colors, right? Yo, I swear to God, I looked at it, it changed fucking color. So if anyone tells you, hey, it changed faces or whatever, if someone tells you, hey, Flat Earth, this, we don't level, if you listen to enough of something, you're gonna believe it, right?
Well,
I mean, think about it.
Here's the thing, is that Flat Earth, actually, the Flat Earthers have like an answer for all like the
they overcome an objection.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So like one example is that like the sun, right? They say that the sun isn't so many million miles away. It's actually smaller, and it does like a specific circle, right? So they have ways of answering these questions, but when you put all of them together, right? When you stack up all their answers for, like the curvature, they don't stack up. They mix in with each other.
Well, look, yesterday I was looking at the Himawari camera from Japan that takes pictures of of Earth every, I think it's like 10 fucking minutes, right? So it's a digital picture, right? So it's not an actual picture of the Earth. It takes thousands of pictures and then it puts them together and then it gives you the picture of Earth, right? And so So if you say, hey, the U.S. NASA's saying that, hey, we've been on the moon, we haven't been on the moon, hey, it's flat, it's not flat, then why would Japan's, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. So
There's a lot of different.
I tell them shut the fuck up.
Like I'm not. I really hate to be the one to tell people to watch flat Earth documentaries, but you should kind of watch because it's super. Like the one it was called Behind the Curve. Great.
Oh
name.
shit! Is that?
That is the legit name. So it kind of gives you a premise that these guys are like, bro, they're slacking, but let's get into it. The funny thing is, like, like I'm giving away a movie here. So at one
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. There you go. Yeah, one of the key elements is
What movie are we talking about? I mean,
Behind the Curve, bro. Are you not in the flat Earth thing?
oh, we're talking about flat Earth.
Yeah, they were still on the-
yeah. I mean, I'm going on something else.
So basically, at the end of this documentary, right,
Jesus
the whole
Christ.
thing is like they have this this experiment. This guy's like, look, we're gonna set up these cardboard, like just pieces of cardboard a few miles apart, and we're gonna get this big ass laser, and we're gonna shoot it. And if it's 8 feet across on this cardboard the whole way, well, that means the Earth's flat. This dude's putting it like 3.2 miles apart. 3.2 miles apart, right? So you're like 8 feet, not much. The Earth has enough topography to where you're not going to get that regardless. So they end the documentary. The last scene is he's like, all right, let's put this laser out there. And he's like, where's it at? It's like 16 feet. He's like, oh shit. And then the documentary ends. They're like, yeah, bro, you failed. We're done here. So it was a perfect ending to a joke ass documentary, but it was good because
That's pretty funny.
it's so weird how dedicated these people are. Like it's the whole thing was them kind of leading up to a Flat Earth Con, right? Like the International Flat Earth Conference, which was taking place in North Carolina. So you can tell they're reaching a lot of people. You know, they're like, international? Fuck it, North Carolina. That's a place of beauty. So it's this build up to it, but it's nothing but failures and failures, but they're so adamant about keeping it going. It's amazing.
Well, I feel like there's some people who aren't, they try to prove that they're not dumb. Look, I feel like I need to preface this with something else. There are people in this world that are dumb, and everyone thinks that they are not dumb. Like, everyone individually thinks that they're not dumb. However, right, whenever society constantly tells you, no, you're wrong, right? Like not, no, you're dumb, but just, no, you're wrong about whatever you think.
Right.
Then I feel like this is the type of person that attracts more to conspiracy theories because you can't prove them wrong, and they can then argue and right, just chase that forever point.
The thing with these people that you see, it's like they get to this point where they're like, it's like if I told if I told you something's a fact, right? Like hey, like the Earth is not flat. Fact, right? They're gonna do everything they can to manipulate their tests and their experiments and their theories to find like the one slight bit of not really pertinent information, but enough in there to be like, oh, we'll see can you address this? You like, if you have a list of 100 things that say why the Earth is round, but one of them is like, well, we can't disprove this one because like it's kind of a bullshit, hypothesis. They're like, oh well, if you can't disprove 100 out of 100, then it's got to be real, So they cling to that one shred of hope.
Like I read the other day that the most commonly accepted conspiracy theory today is the moon landing.
That is so ridiculous.
50% of Americans today believe that didn't happen. And
Yeah, but hopefully those 50% are going to be dying off in the next decade or so.
Hopefully.
Yo, guys, 50% of marriages end in divorce. That just says it all.
100% of
But
lives
Oliver,
end in death.
it's not an age thing. It's not like older people
Has nothing to do
believe
with it.
that the moon landing was fake. It's just 50% of the population.
I saw a thing that said that to recreate the moon landing would have required a light source that just did not exist at the time, or it would have cost more to make said light source than to put someone on the moon.
absolutely.
Because the light is all coming from one direction, it does not converge, there's not converging angles, right? So it had to be one big, huge light projector all aiming at the set stage.
Yeah.
Because you could not have, crossing shadows.
Yeah, if whether it happened, it didn't, it ain't gonna change shit.
But to me, my biggest thing is that other government agencies have space programs, right?
Yeah.
They have their own space programs, right? They are out there also, right? So if
people will fund their own shit to go up.
If we were lying, other countries would be
know.
like, y'all are full of shit, and they would be more than happy to provide the proof.
That's what I'm saying. The whole Japan that they're taking pictures. If it would have been flat Earth, they would have said some shit, right? Everything that we go through in life, we kind of rely what other people say, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? Hey, flat Earth, fucking. What's another shit? It could be anything.
Elvis is still alive.
Elvis. How many people see Elvis every fucking day? Bunch of people. How many people get abducted by aliens? A bunch. O.J. Simpson, he's innocent, right? Fuck that. You know what I mean? So, hey, we all know it's bullshit. It's bullshit. But at the end of the day, we just gotta go with
Jesse's
it.
mullet?
Fuck that.
Jesse's mullet?
Hold on, I'm out of here. I need another beer.
It's a shitty haircut.
I just got that.
It's a shitty haircut, but I mean, we don't need to talk about that.
I saw the meme earlier. It was a great meme.
You know, one thing that's interesting that I read today is that in 10 years, there's plans for somebody, maybe SpaceX, to create a 6-man hotel.
It was
space.
Bigelow Space Industries.
Bigelow Space
Space Industries, but yeah, it's Bigelow.
They want to create a space hotel for 6 extremely wealthy.
You ready for this? So I was talking to someone at class tonight who is a little bit of background. I worked out at NASA for 13 years, and that.
You exercised at NASA for 13 years?
Do I look like the?
You worked out at
Do I look like I work out?
That's what he said.
Do I look like I work out?
I mean, that is what you said.
I worked, out at NASA for 13 years. Motherfucker.
Yeah, punctuate. Punctuation. It matters.
Hey, why don't you
Coach Ricky, doesn't it matter?
punctuate his mic down to a 0 there, Zach? So I worked, out at NASA for a while, and I was talking to a very good source who actually works out there right now, and he was telling me about this space hotel from Bigelow, and apparently it's going to be inflatable. I'm going to say that again. An inflatable space hotel for rich people.
What is it going to be inflated with?
Someone is taking this bouncy castle shit way too far. Like, you're going to start seeing...
Hey, you know who should go up there? The guy from the fucking Dallas, the sex ring. That's where you should take his women out.
The sex ring.
Take the sex ring to the moon?
No one would know, right?
You bringing in missing people now?
Oh shit, missing people. We got
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
We'll start shipping them off to the space hotel, right?
seriously. Man, I already recruited.
We're gonna have like Space Australia, just like shit back.
Are we gonna plug in our second podcast?
You're like the Hardy Boys of podcasting.
You know, I am gonna start a new podcast eventually. I don't know where it's gonna start, how it's gonna start, or whatever the fuck.
I got you.
It's about missing people. It's about mystery.
Wait,
it's about
like lost connections.
How
Like, hey, I
bitches-
saw you the other day at the laundromat. Now I'm missing you. Like, you should hit me up.
I mean,
People that
you know,
miss each other.
whatever the fuck,
No,
however you want it.
Professor Allen, in all honesty, if somebody else told me that, I'd be like, that sounds like a fucking horrible idea. But you have the potential.
There's a thin line.
That missing people stuff. I'm sure you have like booklets.
There's a thin line between a serial killer and a fucking detective. Think about it.
But
I mean, they're both stalkers.
I already recruited Ricky. He's in my cult. Go ahead.
But also, there are already several podcasts that talk about missing people that are.
Look, there's
Super interesting.
this case, Mara Murray, right? She disappeared in 2004. I've been following that shit since 2004.
You weren't
I know.
involved with it. Like,
What's the update?
like, this isn't one of those where like I want to start a podcast about missing people. I can't find any. We should make some people missing, right? Like you're not
I would be a good serial killer. Oh, I would be a good serial killer, dictator, fucking.
No, but the thing about missing people is I feel like people try to see it as a puzzle. Like whenever someone presents a case, whenever someone says, "Hey, this person went missing. These are the details." What like the viewer, the audience of however the media is being presented tries to, in some level, they try to guess like, I bet it was the neighbor, or I bet it was whatever.
Look, it's like whenever a new student thinks they made up a technique.
There you go.
It's similar, but
It's like a guillotine, but like a whole.
Man, think about it. It's like a crime. Hey, it's like a crime. Usually when there's a crime in a household, who is it? It's usually a family member, right? I mean, that's what it is. A lot of times we complicate things, but usually the answer is simplified, right? Same thing in jiu-jitsu. Oh my God, what do I do here if he has his arm? Fucking guillotine. I mean, it's that easy, right? So,
That's usually what I do. Someone grabs my hand for a handshake. I'm like, fucking guillotine.
I mean, and so I don't know. I'm very passionate about missing people. I know Coach Ricky's starting to get into it.
You gotta be careful on how you phrase that, Professor
I'm
Allen.
passionate about missing
You take it how you want to take it, right? Come see me.
Also, watch your phrasing on that one.
and this Mara Murray case, there's been a recent development.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a long story. I'm not a good storyteller. I'm good for just saying one thing,
What are
right?
the facts? Drop the facts.
Straight up, bam. So this girl,
Roll a podcast.
search her up, Mara Murray. She's missing. New leads, new case. Check out my new podcast coming out soon.
It's called Man, Professor Allen.
Yeah.
Oh shit! No. But think about it. Whenever if you're walking, I mean, I used to live in Chicago, right? So when you're walking home in Chicago,
safe city, by the way.
sometimes people are crossing neighborhoods. Some people are walking from one neighborhood to the other. Sometimes, they're walking home drunk. Sometimes they're lost or whatever the fuck, right? So whenever something would happen, and you would hear random screams at night, or fights, or drunk people fighting out of your apartment door.
Is this when you had the sound picture in your room?
No, it was way after. But anytime something happens, what I do is I look at the time. So think about it. When you're at home, you're at home, you're in your neighborhood. It may be a quiet neighborhood. You hear a scream of some sort. I look at the time. I may fall asleep and go to sleep next day. But they go, hey, there was some chick, she got fucking stabbed, she was in the alley or whatever the fuck. I was like, I remembered, I look at the time, it was 11:10. So that'll help. So you got to think about this, right?
There's two
Stay ready, folks.
Like, are you at the point where you're like, look, I'm taking notes to help the police, or I'm taking notes to see what crime killing is?
I'm trying to find people, right? But if I can help, so like I always say, and I tell everyone this, there's a thin line between a serial killer and a detective. So a dictator, someone who's a dictator who wants to maintain control, like Maduro from Venezuela, whatever the fuck, however you want to see it, or Iraq, or fucking Fidel Castro, and then someone who's the total opposite, there's not much of a difference.
You're from Peru? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah.
But I want to know your opinion on what's going on in Venezuela right now.
So fucking,
We had a good talk about this yesterday.
so we talked about yesterday, so this dude, he's the president. So this dude is the president of Venezuela, right? So they have the largest of the oil, the reserve oil in the world. They have money. The problem is there's sanctions against this country, that country, to fucking where they can't buy supplies. They can't get supplies. So the U.S. is like, hey. We're going to send supplies. And the president's like, don't send fucking supplies. I have money. Let me buy them. So fucking, that's where they're at. I mean, he still needs to get the fuck out of there. I mean, if I'm the president and the U.S. puts sanction, or whoever puts sanctions where I can't buy stuff for my people, and they're like, either way, here's food and medicine for your people, I'll be like, let me take that. But let's work out a deal. Don't just be like, fuck you. Because if you say fuck you, then they're going to want to fuck me back. And then it's fucking over.
What do you think about the U.S. troops being involved?
Well, I think they're going to have to get involved. At this point, at the end of the day, there's no cost on human life. For example, if you walk down the street and you see someone abduct someone, going back to missing people, and it's some fucking 65-year-old guy, old guy, I'm gonna fucking take him out, right? I mean, it is what it is.
Fucking going down.
He's going down because there's no price on that life, man. You have to protect that life. So what I'm saying is all these people are suffering. You know, I remember being a child in Peru back in the 80s. You know, I was born in Peru, but my family already lived in the U.S., but they took me, you know, we went for vacation. I remember the fucking terrorists at that time in Peru, and you would hear tanks going off, guns, machine guns.
Against Chileans?
Huh?
Against Chileans?
No, it was the terrorist group in Peru. It's called some shit Illuminoso.
But there's like a rivalry between Peru and Chile, right?
I don't know, they're whack. Anyways, I remember being in a room, hearing fucking tanks go off, and in the 80s, Peru was really like iffy, right? Tanks going on, machine guns, and there was a curfew, and yeah, that's horrible. I remember being a child in my bed, in my family's bed, thinking like, this is fucked up, you know? So I can imagine those people, you know, they have nothing to do with the leadership, but they need to survive. If you're a leader, you make sure your people survive, and then you make your deals. But that's why I say there's a thin line between a serial killer who wants to kill for pleasure and someone who wants to catch these fucking people. So, anyways.
You gotta have that stock.
You know what? I'm fucking out of here. I'm on.
Like I'm done mic drop.
You know what's really interesting is I was listening to this podcast about a missing person. This kid named Andy Puglisi, he went missing in New Jersey in the 80s. And the thing was that there was some sort of first responder emergency in the area, that there was a detour in front of his house. So they said typically his house would get 1 or 2 cars driving down the street per hour. But this time it was like 30 cars, 40 cars per hour going down the street. And he went out walking one night. He lived close to the beach in Jersey, and that was the last time anyone ever saw him. His mom, you know, told him like, "See you later," and that was it. They found his shoe.
That's
his
some
left
bullshit.
shoe
That's
on
crazy.
The beach. But look, so the traffic was increased, right? I bet you it wasn't a new person. I bet you it was someone he knew or a neighbor. Yeah, someone taking advantage of the situation rather than someone stumbling upon the situation.
Look, I'm gonna tell you one. I'm gonna give you a good name, Jennifer Cassie. That's one of them. This chick, she worked out of Florida. This story creeps the crap out of me. Think about this. This girl, she went on vacation with her boyfriend, came back. She gets ready to go to work. She takes a bath. She takes a shower. She changes clothes. She apparently never made it to work the next day.
It's a long in the shower.
Oh, hey, you know, we don't know what happened. So
Clean means clean.
Well, you know what happened. So they found her car 2 miles away from her apartment. On camera, they have someone who was driving her car, and they have someone on video walking away from her car, and they have her on camera. Like, but they don't know who it is. No one can describe who it is. Like, what the fuck? When they went to her fucking apartment, they see her towels fucking wet.
What year was this?
This was fucking. I'm like dropping F-bombs all over. No, it's like 2005, 2006. So they went. Her, yeah. So
So we're talking like 13 years ago.
but it's pretty recent if you think about it. I mean,
compared to like
In like the missing in the missing person world, I guess.
compared to the what was it, the
they found
Zodiac
him.
killer, like all
yeah, I don't care too much about missing people before the 90 something. So
He's like, I love history.
Those are gone.
After
those, they deserve
at this
it.
point, you know. But oh shit. So so they have someone driving her fucking car, but no one can describe. I'm sorry, but if I see fucking Oliver on camera, they're like, hey, this guy killed 5 people. I'm like, oh, I know who that
Yeah,
is.
you're like,
for sure. There's no way.
He's that good-looking white dude who's.
Would you turn him in?
No, just by walking, I can tell by the way you walk. I'm gonna be like,
Would you turn him in immediately?
hell yeah.
Would you like them or me?
No, turn in Oliver.
Look,
turn it
as
me.
we're sparring, I just go like, I know. And then I walk out and get out. And by the time you leave,
Wait,
the
would
cops
you
are there.
choke him out to death
Oh, for
and then
sure.
be
I'll
like,
hold it on.
I did
Oh,
that
no.
for a reason because he's a murderer.
I can't
and
hold it too long because what if I'm wrong? I have to make sure, right?
How cool would it be if Professor Allen like already sent all the information to the police, and the police were like, "We're gonna come get him at this time," but Allen like kills him.
Yeah, he's like
Oh,
he's like the
shit.
Jiu-Jitsu Dexter.
Oh shit, that's pretty cool.
Jiu-Jitsu Dexter.
Like he
pretty
comes,
cool.
you know, like they come. To,
That's cool, but can we use someone else's?
He only
No,
uses
it is what
he
it
only
is.
uses jiu-jitsu on people that like deserved it.
They
He's done
come
his
to-
research. He knows they're the killers, so then he goes in there and rear necks them.
Man, you know,
It's not the superhero we want, but it's the one we need.
man, you know I like you. Like if I'm choking and you're like, and I'll just go,
Oh, you know what defense.
instead
like,
of,
I love you. I like you.
You'll wake up tomorrow.
Or
Instead
it's
of-
either that or I can't get to that spot and I haven't choked.
I've completely changed my defensive game now for like rolling and stuff. So when people start choking me, the best defense I found is just be like,
You lick their ear.
and then all of a sudden they let
shit.
go. Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you get some good side control pressure, and you're like, you smell
Yeah.
different when you sleep.
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
freaks them out. You know, they're like, oh, what the shit? Take
Cologne.
that arm.
But yeah, I would turn someone in for sure.
Speaking of that, there's one thing that is so weird that jiu-jitsu guys do. It's mostly new. We're jiu-jitsu guys.
You were nude.
New.
Okay.
New jiu-jitsu guys do this?
Yeah, with girls that train.
What do they do?
So I've heard females talk about this multiple times, right? And I think it's just the guys get into an awkward situation, like they just feel weird because they're training with
Guard.
a woman. No, it mostly happens from the back.
No, I'm not.
Look, it mostly happens from the back. It's whenever a guy tells a girl, "Your hair smells really good," and it's like, why would you
All right,
say
all right.
that?
I don't. No. It has nothing to do with women. Have you ever sparred with a guy, like someone like, shit, this fucking gi smells good?
Yeah,
like
outside of class all the
like
I've been
no,
on the opposite.
There's
like,
certain people
God,
like
this
their gi smells fucking
so
good,
bad.
or his gi smells like shit, and you're about to take a shower at home and you fucking still smell that shit.
Dude, so what I do is I say, I really like your detergent. But I will say that not while we're training.
I don't comment on people's smell in general.
If he's too much, I gotta
in
say
the
something.
Oh,
streets.
if it's positive,
No, Zach got. Zach's
wanna
got
give
it, man.
compliments.
You don't say anything.
I wanna give
Send him
compliments.
a friend request on Facebook later and slide into those DMs.
Man,
No,
I've
dude.
smelled gi
You
so
punished-
nicely that it has me going to HEB and trying to find a nice fucking little thing to throw in the dryer with. No, I swear to God, it's been that nice. I'm like, damn, this smells
I'm
good.
38 years old and I'm very stuck in my ways of detergent, but you, my friend, have swayed me to change. What is that?
I'm trying different types of sheets, right?
Like I will never rewear a gi. I have never and will never like. I trained in a gi.
Wash it after.
I wash it.
Oh, yeah, me
well,
too.
yeah, that's why I have so many.
there's one exception to that rule. For me, at least, for me personally.
yeah, you're there.
Oh, if you're teaching, that's different.
No. To me, if
It's a brand new gi.
if you can leave your gi to dry in the sun,
Oh yeah,
completely,
okay, yeah, I got you.
like it's a hot summer day, you leave it outside, it dries. Like unless you're
I'm
just a
talking
sweat
about,
monster.
like-
Chances are I'm gonna forget.
I'm
But
talking
it'll
about you.
stay outside.
You put it in your bag. You put it in your car. You drive home. You drive back to the gym later on.
that's rank.
Like the next day,
That is
and you
cheese.
take it out and
That's
you
called
say,
strategy.
That's called gi cheese.
That's called fucking mountain
Gas
someone,
mask
opening up
choke.
the tent and just flambe them, man. It's just
We've had this instances with students where we've had to be like, hey, whenever you leave the school, what do you do with your gi? And then most
like,
of the
oh, I
time,
shove it in a pile of roadkill and
No,
rub it in some shit. Why? What's
a
up?
lot of the time they're like, I put it in my car, and I'll be like,
Yeah,
and then
that's not a good
and then they'll just
"Do
be
you
like,
know what their car smells like?"
yeah, and then they'll be like,
You know what?
nothing.
That is
It'll be
one.
dry, but the
That
next
is
time
one
I see
thing
it-
that I've had a few embarrassing moments because so now I do morning jujitsu, so 6:30 jujitsu,
Yeah, why don't you fucking
that
brag?
early.
and then I go to work after. Right, so in the summer my gi is just like steaming in my bag in my car. So we'll go out to lunch and people be like, "Who's driving?" And I'm like, And they're like, "You're driving." And I'm like, And they're like, no, you're driving. And then they all immediately roll down the windows whenever they get there. They go, "Okay, I made a mistake."
Like, keep it up. Eventually, they're not gonna ask you to drive.
Right?
Have you
That's my-
have you been in my brother's car?
No,
You've never been in my brother's car?
No.
So my
You have a bottom.
he airs his
so
skis out in his car too.
no, my brother does not have bad hygiene when it comes to
Hold up,
cleaning.
time out. We did lose Coach Ricky Rivas. We now have Zach Marshall, our
Stepped in.
wonderful producer
Stepping in.
here, stepping in. So just to let everybody know, we got Berto talking about his brother now that he's not here. Continue on, sir.
Yay.
Yeah, this is definitely nice.
So my brother will forget that he has leftover food in his car.
shit.
So it's not about geese, right? He's fine with his clothing. He will forget he has food that will then rot,
when you
and
know Ricky
he
has
does
become
not
addicted.
notice it.
I hope he doesn't go to Arby's. What do you say?
Dude, there was one time I got in his car and immediately ran for a bottle of Odoban. Odoban is Fabrice's big brother, and just sprayed the shit. Yeah,
Like some
sprayed
of
the
those
shit out of it.
car refreshers smell like so pungent that
This is not a car refresher. This is like an everything refresher.
This is like screw your ozone. This is
It's like
Yeah.
Lysol and Febreze had a mutant baby, and it's called Odoban. That shit works great. It smells like eucalyptus.
or just
I
not
think.
leave your Nobi in the car.
True.
See, which is not a problem too much anymore because Thick Rick is finishing all of his meals.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's a middleweight. You heard that?
It's true. Yeah, I heard
He's
that.
officially a middleweight.
Man, you know. Well, I think we have the Houston Open coming up. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going
Man,
on.
we got about 20 minutes. We want to put more into this. I mean, I'm sure we could gab like girls for the next 7 hours, but nobody wants to hear that. Let's do a little recap of some stuff that's happening.
Is everybody competing here? Is
Oh man, I compete with myself on my
Yeah,
daily.
I'm gonna get
Oh, sorry, we're getting a sign for last call here. We're all gonna put one in.
small.
Yes, sir. Saloon Door taking care of us tonight, everybody.
So what the hell were we talking
To answer
about?
your question, yes, I am doing the Houston Open,
Okay,
but I do not
so-
think anybody else here is doing the Houston
I'm
Open.
doing the Houston Open.
You're doing it?
Zach,
Yeah.
Zach,
Oh,
Zach
nice.
is competing.
Okay.
Professor Berto is
It's
competing.
my third one.
Oh, dope.
We got a good team. What is this? 9 years in a row so far? 10? Where are we at? 9?
Yeah, we're at 9 in a row. This year should be 10.
9 years in a row, man. We're trying to.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to talk with Third Coast about a rooster weight matchup with Professor Brandon Mullen. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
How are
I'm
you
just
gonna
saying.
have the commentators?
Are you calling out?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just throwing it out there.
Would Professor
Anyways, what were we
Brandon-
talking about? Houston Open?
Wait, would Professor Brandon commentate on his own match? That would be
No, we would just
impressive.
get up and go up.
I kind of feel like if you guys had those super awesome like Britney ears,
I will lose. I'll tell you that. But
That'd be cool.
No, here's an idea, Zach.
you may lose,
How about this?
but we'll all win.
Pre-record the match,
Yeah,
oh shit!
and then have them individually commentate
So-
separately.
And then put generic like background, like
You guys could mystery science
For the qualifiers, we can do this because the qualifiers isn't going to be live stream. We're going to record multiple angles. We're going to record commentary. I'm going to edit everything together, and
Bonus
then we're going to
super fight.
produce it probably free on Facebook. Or
bonus super fight right there.
shit.
So we could add in anything in between.
Or okay, I need some time to lose the weight, though. You know what I mean?
What are you weighing right now, Slim?
No,
We can make an absolute matchup.
no, right now I'm like 142, but we're talking about 130. We're talking about 130. We got to get to, and I like
Zach,
my
let's
pizza.
do an absolute matchup.
I like my pizza.
No way.
I like
Absolute.
pizza.
Yeah,
I like
absolute.
pizza every Friday.
Absolute
Every
black
fucking
belt.
Friday, it's fucking pizza.
Yeah, absolute black belt super fight. You don't even have to weigh in. You don't have to make weight.
I
Be
say
heavy.
I
Put
say
the
we
belly
put
on.
we put 5 black belts out on the mat and then just say go.
Oh shit!
We should have 5 black belts out there playing a group game.
Have you
of Kid Rock
seen?
Scissors.
I saw this today. I saw a video. It was
I know what you're talking about.
Russian
The MMA one?
parkour.
I saw that. That's
the
pretty
MMA
cool.
parkour. Like
Parkour.
it's an MMA.
They were jumping
Russian-
something and then they just
Yeah,
started-
Russian MMA parkour. They're like it's like King of the Mountain meets Team MMA meets
Dude
Guts.
gave like
Like,
5
you remember that
uppercuts.
Guts? You remember Nickelodeon Guts?
Yeah, dude, I'm old.
Oh yeah, he's too young.
Yeah, he was.
Dude,
He's like in between.
I
Brothers
wanted.
ever seen the
I thought I could have dominated Guts.
I have not seen the Goonies.
34.
So okay, so you saw Nickelodeon. You saw fucking Doug. You saw fucking
Oh,
Doug.
yeah, Rugrats,
You saw
all that stuff.
Rocco's Modern Life. I love that.
That was
shit.
my jam. If you go back and watch that stuff,
It's good.
It's kind of creepy.
It's
Yeah,
kinda
No,
like
it's kind of borderline.
Yeah,
And you know what's funny?
Same thing like Ren and Stimpy.
He saw like fucking Recess. And
the
shit.
only thing my
I
parents.
did like Recess. I did like Recess.
The only thing my
But-
parents
It is
wouldn't let
good,
me.
though, it is.
The only thing my parents wouldn't let me watch is Beavis and Butthead.
So
I
was
love Beavis and Butthead.
That was the only thing
I
they wouldn't
love
let me watch.
Beavis and
Yeah, I was a Cartoon Network kid. Like, I did not like the shows on Nickelodeon. So I enjoyed Dexter's Lab and Johnny Bravo and Cow and Chicken.
I was already.
You remember Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Nickelodeon.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god! Every Saturday, every
love
Friday
that
night.
shit.
Friday night,
Yeah.
they would have. Are
Ed
you
and
afraid
Eddie?
of the dark?
Are You Afraid of the
Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah,
Afraid
yeah,
of the dark.
See, but that was right after me. That like at that point I was already
I feel like I came in at the peak of the Cartoon Network shows because now they're all. There's good ones.
Are You Afraid of the
Most
Dark?
them are
Snake Nick.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
just
Snake Nick, right?
never
Yeah.
watched the Venture Brothers, I understand because you're too young. But for you guys,
No, I love the
like
Venture Brothers.
me, the Venture Brothers is one of the greatest animated shows.
Salute your swords.
Oh my god. And then what was the
How
other
bad
one?
did you want to go to camp?
It was
when
a
you
camp,
watched it?
Yeah,
camp on
but-
a, on a
Camp.
I don't wanna.
wanna.
What was the one with the one with their like cowboys and shit?
Hey, dude. Hey, dude.
Ben Stiller's wife in
I
there,
love
man.
That is true. Yeah.
Hey dude, so the camp one, and then how about the '90s movies? I saw the other day, Heavyweights. Remember
yeah, that's
with Ben
good.
Stiller?
How about this one? It was on Netflix. It's on YouTube for free. It is, and my son, my 18-year-old, was like getting rowdy, so I was like, let's watch some iPad. So I went to YouTube and
You have an 18-year-old?
18-month-old.
Okay. I was about to say.
I was like,
you just lied to me,
bro.
Sorry, 18-month
I'm
old.
gonna give you a shout out, Zach, because you was boning early.
Right, yeah, really young.
Pretty sweet.
He just saw Doug, and then blam.
So my 18-month-old, and I typically show him motorcycle races because he loves motorcycles. But I get on YouTube and I see Masters of the Universe.
The original with Dolph Lundgren.
It's on YouTube for free.
You want to hear something nasty? I've got it on VHS at the house.
You can watch it
Damn.
digitally remastered.
I'm sure it's.
You can actually watch it.
I don't want to see Dolph Lundgren's sweaty pec pores like dripping out of
I
that.
can tell you it is amazing.
You know what's best about that? Courtney
In
Cox.
digital.
Courtney Cox.
Oh
He
yeah.
looks all fucked up right now.
Who? Courtney Cox?
Her, and then that girl from the New York, the one that's out of New York,
Oh,
Sex and the City.
Sex and the-
they
oh,
look
yeah.
all banged up.
She's always her face is
they're all
always
messed up.
Sarah Jessica Parker's face always looked like a horse or a
looks like
foot.
somebody's-
now it's
That is
just
a long-range
it
joke.
just
Yeah,
dropped
that's a long-range
like
joke.
a quarter inch. It dropped a quarter inch.
Yeah.
But she's married to Ferris. So.
Oh, Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller's Day. That's the best right there. I used to
That is-
love
that's a-
that.
That
That's
was
a
a
really
good
good
movie,
movie.
but it has got the worst continuity of any movie ever. Like,
I just like the
do
music.
you know, like, first he didn't show up to Cameron's house till like 10. When the fuck does school start where they're at? Like, he's like, oh,
You know, secretly Cameron was trying to get with this chick.
Longest day ever.
You know,
right?
secretly
that is
Cameron.
a 38-hour fucking day.
You know, Cameron
Yeah,
was
I
secretly
had the
trying to
same
bone
thought.
this girl, for sure.
Have you seen this girl?
No, I'm talking about the movie.
No, I
Fairly.
know. Have you
No, No, I'm talking about Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. Would you try to bang her too? Or?
She was banging in the day, man.
Let's continue with the podcast.
Banging during the day.
She was teasing Cameron a lot.
She was, but
really
hey,
A lot of teasing in the pool. Did you see that? Like, I mean,
yeah.
Like she was testing the water. She's like, oh man.
Yeah, but you know that's the type like once he's ready to go, I just want to be friends. Get the fuck
if
out
that
of here.
wasn't an 80s movie and that was like a 2005 movie, yeah, they both would have like
It would have
been
been
with her.
menage.
yeah. But since it was the 80s, it was like they were still like trying to experiment with kind of stuff like that back then.
Man, you can get away with a lot of stuff back then.
If it was the 70s, then yeah, I can see.
Oh, it was like full
It was
blown.
the 80s. They get a little bit more conservative in the 80s, and then
90s. I mean,
Which is weird because they got super prude during the 80s, but then they're like, fuck it, quaaludes and cocaine. Let's do
right.
this shit.
Drugs got
I
crazy,
used to
but sex
love.
got like
I used to love Saved by the Bell.
It's nothing but quaaludes.
yeah.
You too, right? Saved by the Bell.
Hey, did you
I-
see
College,
that?
did you watch the college years?
I did. I watched it because I just liked the Saved by the Bell too much, but it wasn't that great.
Zach and Slater both train jiu-jitsu now. Did you see that?
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
That was
Both
really cool.
Gracie or
One had a-
Slater's Gracie
Gracie
Baja.
Baja is.
I mean, I saw one
Slater.
with a Gracie Baja.
He wrestles like
He
you saw-
I know
you
he's
saw
pretty
actually-
adamant.
Bro,
on
they
Gracie
put him in
Baja.
that unitard for a reason. They're like, Slater, that mullet, that unitard.
You know what got him into it was he got his son in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And then
really?
he had that background of wrestling, and he was like, yeah, let me try this too. And him and his son started kind of going on this journey through Gracie Baja, and because you can't throw a stone in LA without
Man,
hitting
shout out
Gracie
to
Baja.
AC Slater, man.
Right? That's pretty
Fuck,
awesome.
man. I would love to get him on here. You know,
Get him on this podcast.
I'd love to. I
man,
just
AC
wanna,
Slater, where you at?
I want to train with him.
First guest, maybe.
We got to talk for about 30 minutes, man. I'm not going to give you the background of it because I'd be very embarrassed about where I met this
Because he choked you out and he's only blue
guy.
belt.
Honestly, because we're not going to delve into this anything, but it was at a modeling convention.
All right, so it was a porn place. So it was at the porn convention. All right, so you know,
I was 12, Alan, so obviously, yes,
It doesn't
was.
matter. It doesn't. Your dad took you. He
Yes, it
gave you
was.
$20 and not
And-
say
Yeah,
anything.
no, he's like, hey, do you want to see my unitard? I'm like, kind of.
And now
But, dude,
Mark
he was-
Lopez is being indicted.
No,
Damn, what a great first podcast, man. We are stirring ripples in Hollywood.
I really would like to train with the guy. You know, I think it'd be really cool to train with those guys. I want to get my hands on Keanu Reeves, man. This motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
I like him.
Forever.
Fucking leave
All right,
Keanu
quick-
alone, bro.
quick-
That dude's had
He
some
changed with the
hardships in his life.
Machados.
That
He
dude
trains
is
with the
fucking
Machados.
I just want to train with him, man.
Look, okay, all right. So if you had to say, I mean, there's a few things I want to say, but if you had to say, who would you like to train with? You know,
That we
you know,
know does jujitsu?
No, that you know, no,
Ashton
like,
Kutcher.
Fucking Ed O'Neill.
whether it's a
Ed O'Neill.
whether,
He would talk one hand.
whether it's a celebrity or not, like for me, it's either my favorite jiu-jitsu guy, competitor, is Marcelo Garcia, for sure. Because he's a short, he's stocky.
But you've been to New York. You like
No, I haven't. I mean, I've been, but I haven't trained there. But he's
it's like not impossible to train there.
yeah, but I mimic my game, where I used to mimic my game, you know, butterfly and all this shit, with him and also with the Freitas, the Barata Plata. I would love to train with those two guys. Because he's a lightweight,
Which is
he can kind of move like me.
It's
but
funny that we're having this conversation because we all train under Draculino.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
And the people that we have get brought in there is freaking amazing.
That is true.
Yeah.
I had a cool little exchange with Barata when I went to the World Summit. Did you do World Summit, Professor Barata? I'm sorry. Because I was hanging out with Professor and because I am Hispanic, right? A lot of
you?
Yeah, a lot of Brazilians.
Like a basic white dude to me.
Basic white guy.
They immediately
are
start
those?
speaking-
Is that blonde
We got-
or
we got-
blonde highlights?
We got fucking pumpkin
Oh,
spice
shit.
Burno over
They start speaking Portuguese to you.
Dude, so many
Portuguese?
people would just come up to me and start speaking Portuguese, right?
there.
And-
You about the coke?
Yo, all you gotta say is porra.
so I would say porra, and then I would say I don't speak Portuguese, right?
No,
But
don't even say that. Just go
Porrada.
porra. Yeah, porra.
there was like this funny exchange during one of the seminars. I can't remember who it was. I think it may have been Professor Fabio Costa was teaching a seminar, and there was like some kind of like joke or laughter or something, right? And Professor Barata comes up to me, slaps me on my arm, and then like says a phrase in Portuguese, laughs, walks away. And I was just like, I was like,
Did you do the smile and nod?
Yeah, you just guys,
I did the
you just gotta
smile
say
and nod.
porra, man.
He might have given you the biggest compliment you've ever gotten. You
who
have no
knows?
idea.
He might have.
Berto, for a white boy, you look very Portuguese.
Oh, you
Brazilian, you're like,
you can only say either porra or boa. That's it.
One of the two. One of the
That's
two.
it, man. You
No,
can't
and
make a mistake.
What's cool about Brazilians is that they can look like anybody. They could be black, white, Hispanic
I'll tell
looking.
you, man,
so you're saying they're ethnic ninjas?
Man, I'll tell you what.
Ethnic ninjas.
I've lived.
Ninjas.
I've lived all over.
Ninjas.
Like when I moved to Puerto
Ninjas.
Rico, man, you have Puerto Ricans that have blonde hair, green eyes, you know, and then you have them as dark as like, you know, it
As
could be
dark
as
as dark.
as anything.
Brazil is a melting
Same
pot.
thing. Any
Just like-
just like Puerto Rico's a
any
melting pot.
Latin American country has a port of entry where African slaves came in, right? And then you have where the Spanish came in, and then you have Brazil where the Portuguese came in, which is the same shit as Spaniards. They just fucking, you know what I mean? Like
beat 'em.
it's the same.
They just sing it a
shit.
little more.
It's the same bullshit. So. And when it comes to like politics and the way people think and ignorance, like people don't understand like it's much more than what we see here in the U.S.
So you want to hear my answer?
Go ahead.
Jonah Hill.
That's true.
Yeah.
He does train.
Because
But he just
he's a
recently
white
started
belt,
training.
so I know I can beat him.
Fuck him up. Yeah.
And if I was to train with like Keanu Reeves or well, Keanu Reeves is a white belt too.
I think I would fuck him up, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what the
What about
fuck?
Superman?
And he just stabbed me with a knife.
What about Harry, whatever his name is, Superman? He trains too under.
Henry Cavill.
He trains under Hodger Gracie,
Oh, okay. So
like privates.
bring it
I had
back.
a chance to stop by a Hodger school when we went and visited my family out in London. He wasn't there, unfortunately, but man, that is a very, very tough
Who's
school.
that?
Bringing it back to Keanu, however,
Keanu's badass.
Higgin, I think it's Higgin Machado, keeps posting the same picture of him with the white belt.
years
So
in.
like, Keanu could be a purple by now. Who
The
knows?
thing about Keanu, though, he's done so much
Do you
training.
think they're
for-
really training though? I mean, I'm gonna throw it.
Wait.
No, absolutely
I
not.
got this.
Keanu Reeves is one of the most.
So have you
I'm
ever
not talking
have you
about
seen
Keanu, I'm
his
talking about
video?
Ashton.
Have you seen it? I think Ashton is.
they
I don't see
absolutely
why he would.
Ashton was
I
a
don't see
former
why
wrestler,
not,
I think.
but
He
it's always
should
the
be.
same.
Yeah, he was a
black belt
wrestler,
by
right?
now.
Well, yeah, but that's not for Ashton's sake. That's for the schools.
So my thing
just
is,
saw Ashton-
if this is a celebrity and they are mostly doing private lessons, I will
Yeah,
generally
that's-
assume that
gonna
they
take
don't
a
live
while.
train a lot,
But
and they're
you
probably
can
not
see
that
why
good.
they would want to
But
do
if-
privates,
but the
right?
life-
I can see that. It totally
Man,
makes
I
sense.
don't-
But you need to at least have some kind of like training partners.
Yo, you can
know,
have
some
Mike
kind of a
Tyson
class.
in our class, live training. I'm not gonna go, oh my God, Mike Tyson. It's a,
No. People are going to go
but it's
super
not a-
hard
yeah.
on this celebrity.
Well, not only
What?
that, you're gonna have either, like you said, you're either gonna have these people who are gonna be like, oh fuck this is Mike Tyson, I'm gonna choke him out, or you're gonna have these people who be like, oh fuck.
Well, you got to put the right person and
No,
train
but-
with them, and that's
Professor,
what we talked
Professor,
about.
but not everybody is like you.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
the
look,
thing.
most people will.
It'd
freak
probably
out
be like the
for
same thing as
celebrity.
having a celebrity, like a UFC fighter in
Well, we
your
had-
gym, like
well-
John Jones.
I'll give you a better example.
Everyone wants to
Demi
be the
Lovato.
guy
I
that
wouldn't
tapped
want to
out
do that.
John
Hey.
Jones.
I'll give you a better example. Demi Lovato came
And
to our
Anthony
school.
Bourdain.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
yeah.
Demi Lovato
Who?
came. She was supposed to.
Who was it?
Demi
She,
Lovato.
Oh, okay.
she came to our school to do a private lesson with Professor.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, however, I can't remember what happened. She was running late. Professor was still able to do a private lesson for her and Professor Orlando Sanchez, top-notch black belt, by the way.
Yeah, him being in the school.
Like some of the kids in there were like freaking out on the inside. I could see it. They were like, "That's Demi Lovato. That's Demi Lovato." I was just like, "Calm down, train. Don't worry."
choker just like everybody.
But think if that was every
But this was a
day.
kid. This was a kid. Man.
But like,
It's got to be awkward for them.
how
too,
many
man.
people want to choke out Ashton Kutcher?
I just wouldn't want to do it, man.
Well,
That dude has punked enough people where I'm sure someone's like, you know what? I hope you fucking choke.
that's true.
He made Justin. What was
Bieber?
it? No.
Justin Bieber.
NSYNC guy.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, he made Justin Timberlake cry.
I'll tell you what. In the jiu-jitsu scene,
He messed up his guitar.
if you're secure about your jiu-jitsu and you've been doing this for a long time,
you don't really go up against anybody.
You don't have nothing to prove against
Because
someone.
if you tap and they don't stop, then
Man, I'll tell you, I remember when I was a
You're in the
purple
wrong
belt,
place.
I would go with black belts, and maybe I'm thinking I'm crazy, but I would have something. Man, I wouldn't tap I wouldn't tap my professor or my strength, or I wouldn't go for it 100%. I'm not saying I would tap him, because probably he would get out. But it's just of a
in my
of a thing,
3
you know?
years of training, I think I've gotten hurt the most by brown belts.
Really? That is super surprising. Was it me?
So.
Was it me?
No, not you.
He's like, yeah, you fucked up my
You
back.
can't hurt me.
Just
He's like, my back.
You know what?
My back is broken.
You're gonna be like,
spinal.
You can't hurt me, but you know what?
We actually talked about this the other day.
I can put a dent in you emotionally.
I know.
Like, I'm gonna be like, you've got effeminate ends.
You hurt my back spinally. Oh shit!
It's like that Mike Tyson interview.
Yeah.
What happened? My back's broken. What happened? Oh, it's spinal. We're like, yeah, no, we got that, Mike. We got that, Mike.
But when I say that, it was mostly when I was a white belt. That is not the case when I'm a blue
You know
belt.
why? Because you probably hurt that brown belt, you spastic ass white belt.
No. They hurt me. I'm saying they hurt me.
Emotionally?
Physically, emotionally, anally. All the
Oh,
above.
snap.
All right,
The
guys. look.
trifecta.
Hey, straight up, I think we've been here for close to about an hour and a half now. We've had some good conversations. Let's do a little wrap up of kind of things that are coming up here locally. I know we got the Houston Open coming up this weekend, correct? We got a
Yes, we also have the Fight to Win promotion happening on March 1st.
Yes.
That is this Friday.
here in Houston.
We have our very own Professor Isai Cabrera and Professor Marcelo Urapuru fighting on that card, as well as in the Houston Open.
Funnest nicknames to say ever.
I don't understand why people don't use it here. Everybody just says Professor Marcelo.
Oh.
Saying Urapuru.
You know what I call him?
I don't know. Look at me. Urapuru. Ah,
I mean,
okay.
come on. You know what I call Professor Drag?
Professor Drac.
Vinny.
Vinny.
Nah.
That's what your wife calls them.
Professor Vinny.
It's so funny. A little caveat is it's funny that whenever we hear people, Roberto's experienced this quite a bit. You know, parents that come in, like people who meet Drac outside of.
In the real world.
Yeah, out of, you know, like we one of the parents of some kids that we have trained there actually runs a bank that Drac used to go to, and he always introduces himself as Vinny, and this is so
It's so
foreign
great.
and awkward to me.
Wait.
He's like, you can call me Vinny, and you're like, fuck no, I can't. I absolutely.
He told you that?
No, he didn't tell me that.
That's how he introduces
That's how-
himself to just regular
So-
people out there.
When he
doesn't
introduced
introduce himself as Draculino.
When
That's
he
kind of
introduced
weird.
himself to my
actually.
wife,
Yeah,
because we saw him
yeah, yeah.
outside eating,
So-
he
It sounds like
"Hi, I'm Vinny."
Dracula.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
In the Houston Open 2 years ago, Vinny Magalesh was there, the MMA fighter, the famous MMA fighter.
Bazan.
And so I saw Professor Drac and Vinny talking in the hallway, and
Inception.
it was right by the water fountain. I was going up and drinking water, and they're talking in Portuguese. And
You say, "Hey, Vinny," and walk off.
no. But Professor
Vincer.
Drac walked off, and I looked at Vinny and I go, "The Magaleshes," and he looked at me. He goes, "He's my father."
That's great. All right, guys.
He's
Well,
pretty good off the cuff like that.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm tapping out of the podcast.
Yeah,
on
let's go
that-
ahead and wrap this up, guys. Hey, let's give another shout out to our sponsor, Saloon Door, JustKeyPants.com, Third Coast Grappling.
My pants broke.
It's been great.
Get some more.
It's been a good night. I think we're gonna have a couple more coming up.
For real.
Yeah, Houston Open this Sunday. We got a lot of good competitors. Going to be a lot of high level grappling going on. So if you have a chance to make it out there, what's the location?
Shit. Look at
Excellent. Look it up on Google. Google is your friend.
It's in Katy.
That's in Katy. So it's in Houston, but an hour and a half from Houston if you're on the wrong
I think it's
side.
in the same spot as last year.
Houston is
Katy Sports
generally
Center.
1 hour away from
You know
Houston.
what would be cool, man? I know there was other podcasts out of Houston, and one thing I always thought about, I was like, man, one thing they should do is get people
More
on the
missing
fucking
persons.
podcast from fucking Houston. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, do I want to speak to the fucking all these guys, Keanu Reeves or whatever the fuck, all these jiu-jitsu guys? Yeah, but I want to get to know about all the other guys who put in the work, who the people from the local from here, from Houston. So I want to do all that.
We'll talk about this later.
We'll get Keanu Reeves on. We'll get Josh Hummel from Sons of Anarchy.
Jonah Hill.
I want some Ed O'Neill in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying. All right, guys.
A few touchdowns.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
We said enough. Said it all.
Fifth Stripe Podcast. Everybody signing off here, signing out, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Sweet. That was fun.
That was fun.